Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet. Hello and welcome to episode 3 behind the scenes of Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. So if you have been following us, you should have just finished episode 3. We just finished recording it. And Wes, wow, that was a really emotional one.
Yeah, that one was a hard one. And there's a lot more to go, I guess.
Yeah, so you can submit your questions if you have any that you want us to answer, vbhealer.com as in Virginia Beach, or find Wes on Instagram at vbhealer. But I have some questions for you after that episode.
Sure. And you wouldn't let me know what they are ahead of time, so I would be surprised.
Yes. Let's get to it. Okay. So you mentioned in this episode that your siblings wanted you to be institutionalized at one point.
Yeah.
How do they feel now?
Oh, they know it's all real. We ended up having a conversation at one point, and I don't know, all of a sudden they said, well, we believe in it. I mean, then why are you giving me such a damn hard time? So, the funny thing is, not only do they believe it, they've seen me change, they've seen me grow. And I think about 2 years ago, we were down in the Outer Banks for a family weekend, and I was just, I'm always a little isolated when I'm around people. It's just, I feel uncomfortable around a lot of people. And so I was sitting there by the pool off by myself, and I looked up, and most of my brothers and sisters and nieces were standing kind of looking at me. I'm like, what's up? And my niece started to cry, and she's like, can you heal us?
Oh, wow.
And I just remember being shocked because I didn't really go, at that point, I wasn't as vocal about the healing work that I do. And they just stood there and cried while I did work on every one of them. And last year I actually got to do healing work on my dad. That was really cool.
Wow, Wes, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. And Daddy, he goes, son, I don't really know what you do, but I think you got that from your mom. I was like, yeah, Dad, I think I did. And so I worked on him. He stood up. He says, my leg feels better. It was cool. It was fun.
Well, I can attest, Wes, you actually, the first healing session I ever had, you fixed a hip issue that I had had for 15 years. So
I didn't even remember that.
You don't remember that? Yeah. Well, I remember it because I'd suffered with it for 15 years and I don't anymore. So yes, you're a very powerful healer.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad they don't want you to be institutionalized anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So in episode 3, you talk a lot about Scott. Mm-hmm. And he sounds like he was a really great guy. But there's a part where you're talking about he would throw this rag at you, and that's not what I think it is it? What is the deal with this rag that he would throw at you that was so hilarious?
Well, it's a rag that he and his wife would use to clean up after certain opportunities they would have with each other, and he thought that was really funny. And the funny thing about that is in a future episode we're going to talk where he came in as an angel and threw a rag in my face as an angel and laughed. It was really funny. He thought it was funny. I did laugh, but I was like, really? So yeah, Marines aren't quite normal. So yeah.
Okay, so it was what I thought it was.
Yes.
All right, so moving on. Can you tell us a little bit more about calling in the Marines? Because you said that they all came and they all fought. And to me, it was so beautiful and moving. I'm just wondering if you can give us a little more detail that maybe we didn't get in the episode.
Sure. When I started to call out to them, it was probably a deeper conversation than I shared on the episode. I think at one point I just begged him. I said, look, I need your help. I need you to come. And Marines like to fight. I don't know any of them that don't. All of my friends at least did. And I told them, I said, we have one more fight. I need your help. We've got to fight this demon. We've got to fight this darkness. And, I need you, and I love you, and I need you to come. And they came. They came, open-hearted, and it's hard to explain, but it was like, I think like this I felt like there was this stampede coming, because let's be honest, I mean, if we're talking about going to a bar drinking and getting a fist fight as a Marine, that's what we did. That was fun. Mom would always ask, what you going to do this weekend, honey? I said, we're going drinking and fighting. Okay, be careful. That's just who we are. And, but I was humble about it. And I asked them, and I told them, if you don't want to come, you don't have to. And I don't think anybody said no.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah.
And it really, I've known you for a while, and that's, you were a Marine, and once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why, can you tell us a little bit about the name that we went with episode 3?
The name of episode 3 is Semper Fi, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. And that is our motto. That's who we are in the Marine Corps. And so I wanted to honor that brotherhood, that sisterhood, and the people and the warriors that showed up for me, and I honored them by naming this episode after them.
I think that's beautiful. All right, and you talk a lot about your Uncle Robert as well, and he is such an amazing hero. But I do have to ask, what struck me is you're talking about, he passed away 18 months prior to you being born. Do you feel like maybe you are your Uncle Robert reincarnated?
I've thought about that a lot. Sandra Grace said she didn't think I was, but there is a unique connection with him that is hard to explain. And so I think there's a real opportunity of that, yeah.
Yeah. It's at least nice to think about, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things, here's a teaser for you, that we're going to talk in one of the episodes is I got to actually go and help everybody in that firefight back in Vietnam cross over to the light. Even the enemy. It was interesting.
I definitely want to hear every detail about that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, now, you say in the podcast that you have piercing blue eyes. How do you know? Because you are colorblind.
That's true. Well, people tell me I have piercing blue eyes. So.
Okay, I just wanted to mess with you on that one. Okay. He does, though. You can look it up. You go to his VB Healer Instagram page. You can see for yourself. Okay, I just had to mess with you. And so those are all the questions that I had from episode 3. But again, I'm sure the listeners have episodes, so please submit them. And Wes, is there anything you wanted to share before we sign off?
We're going to be going into I don't even know how you word it. Basically, we're going to start talking about how Linda and Kathleen were showing up for me. And, one thing we're not going to be able to do is go into the depth of what these ladies did. There were just so many little things. And I don't remember if we talked about it or not, but Linda and Kathleen actually crossed Scott over to the light. And you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Because I think our audience wants to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to hear it?
I mean, we got the best audience in the world. So, Kathleen and Linda, and I believe Sandra Grace were on the Eastern Shore. So if you're in Virginia Beach, you have to cross a tunnel that's about 15 miles long, and Linda and them live another 2 hours or so up the road. So they're not close. And they were doing some long distance work for me, trying to figure things out, because this is the only house Sandra Grace has never been able to fix. This is the only house that when I would call all these people, and I spent hours and hours and hours every day of calling people that I'd find online, and the conversation would be like, hey, I know this is going to sound crazy. However, I would tell them about the house, and I would have people tell me, you can't call me ever again. I can't help you. Lose my phone number. Don't text me. Don't call me. And that's just when I told them the story. So these people understood how bad it was, but they were afraid to connect. So I guess one evening they were doing some work, and Linda said that when she called me and told me about it, she said, hey, I think your friend came to us and we crossed him over to the light. So I texted her a picture. She said, yep, that's Scott. That's who it is. And when she was connecting with him, I guess she had her hands out and she's holding onto his hands, and she was trying to help lift him up to the light. And he was scared that he wouldn't be accepted into heaven. That's why, when you die, you don't have to necessarily go into the light that shows up for you. If you feel like there's work that still needs to be done here, or you're scared to go, or other various reasons, you stay on the in-between. And Scott was on the in-between, and he was scared to go. So Linda and them were talking to him, saying it's okay, Jesus is gonna forgive you and stuff like that. And she told me that his last words were, help me. And I was like, no, that's not Scott. Scott's not going to say help me. Scott is not going to say those words. He is not going to say those words. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's not here, because he couldn't say those words. So they had recorded this conversation, and I could hear Scott's voice on the recording. And his last word before he went wasn't help me, it was Wesley. That my friend loved me so much that his last words before he crossed to the light was Wesley. He was worried. He felt guilty because he wasn't able to fix the house for me. And that's who Scott is. And then when we seen him later, as he came in as an angel with a big smile on his face, his big brown eyes, and that curly ass damn hair he had. And it was just beautiful to see him with his golden wings.
I'm sure it was. I hope everyone on the planet has a friend like Scott.
Well, he's a genius. He'll tell you. But it is as brilliant and beautiful as he was, he had an equal dark side that he wasn't able to manage. And, I just love him for who he was, and the good and the bad.
And we talked about this a little bit earlier, not on the episode, but you have pictures of Scott, right? And
oh, yeah.
And pictures of a lot of the haunted house, which, at some point you'll share with us, won't you?
Yeah, I've got pictures of some of the demons. I've got pictures of Sandra Grace. One of the things she did is she would create this little sacred fire in like a little teapot, what I call a teapot, probably something you'd warm up soup in. And as she would walk through the house, if there was negative energy or a negative entity there, it would flame up. And I've got pictures where the flames are bigger than her, and the flames have pictures of people's faces and stuff like that in it. It was easy to get photos of all the craziness in the house because it was so powerful that it was just everywhere.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those, and I think probably everyone listening would be interested to see that as well.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
All right, that's a lot behind the scenes.
Yep, just wait until it really gets crazy. That's going to be the fun part.
That's what you tell us every episode. And then every episode it gets crazier and you're like, but it's not even crazy yet.
Yeah, it's not even bad yet. Wait until the house gets so powerful that it follows me and we go into the episode where something crawls down my throat and makes a nest in my chest. That is crazy.
And that's where we'll leave you today. So be sure to follow if you're not already following so you are notified when new episodes are released.
Yes. We look forward to seeing you. Same bat channel, same bat station, right? That's what they say with kids.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.